Good evening. Welcome to 30th day of hashtag 31 days of we. We as in women empowerment. I don't know if you know, March is Women's History Month. And by me sharing my immigrant story to you all for the last 4 days, this is the fourth day, I feel like I am giving you my own women's history, women's her story. And last night, we had so much fun. I mean, for the last 3 nights, we have had so much fun crying together. We've had so much fun talking about my history, my immigrant story, and how I started here in America. Talking a lot about emotional stuff. Talking about stuff that it got really real. And, life is real. Life is now. Life is real. So tonight, my marker last night when we were talking about my part 4 or part 3, because this is part 4, we were talking about my marker as the 2008 market crash. But before I tell you guys that story, hi everybody, welcome. My name is Kareen Mills. It rhymes with bills. You know the one, the dollar bills. This whole channel is about empowering women to get rich and give. Getting rich and getting to your definition of rich is very different than the definition of other people when they define their own rich definition. So first of all, the thing that you need to do is, what does rich mean to you? Like for me, like today, I'll give you an example today. If you go to my Instagram story, I have pretty much given you a tour of my town and how much I love living here, how much it's just when it's sunshiny, it's just such a beautiful day to walk around and do a loop of a 5-mile loop, because it is a historic area. And on Saturdays we have farmers market. We get busy in our historic national park called Fort Vancouver. There's a lot of tourists that comes through here. And the grounds are so pretty in the spring. You can walk straight to the waterfront. There's a brand new waterfront development. There is also, our downtown has the amazing farmers market, and that's my halfway point. And I had a guabao, which is a Taiwanese kind of like a taco, but they use the dough that's like the Asian white dough, and it's delicious. I had a locally made kombucha. It's delicious. And like, to me, living a quality life like that, it's a rich life. So and sometimes there might be days in your life that you don't feel like you're living a rich life. Today, I felt like I was living a quality, rich life. I was walking 5 miles over, a lot of steps. And I was supporting local businesses at the farmers market. I was drinking very healthy, super healthy kombucha. For me, that's part of having a rich life. It doesn't always necessarily mean that you are bathing and overwhelmingly wealthy like Jeff Bezos, okay? It's just a matter of your own definition. So my entire YouTube channel is here to financially educate you from the basics of finances to credit and all of the goods. And that has a lot to do with my experience with watching my mom struggle financially to no end as a wife and mother of 6 children. Anyways, that's what I do. That's why, and I'll tell you about the exposure I had too when I was in retail banking, what it looks like and how much heart I put into it, because I saw a lot of things that Like people were just needing a lot of help. So today we're going to talk about my 2008 market crash, part of my immigrant story. In 2004, my dad, my mom, myself, my siblings, we purchased our first home. So remember, we moved in 2000. We purchased our first home in 2004 together as a family. And if you're an immigrant family from a culture like the Philippines or like mine, or the Hispanic culture, you tend to live with each other until you get married and have your own family. So that's what we did. We pulled our money and resources together. We bought our first home in Upland, California. That was my first house. That was my mom's first house. That was my dad's first house. That was my sister and my younger siblings' first house together as a family, because that's what we do in our culture. And it was very helpful. I think it was only me and my dad on the loan, because we had the highest income amongst 5 family members, because some of our family members was left behind in the Philippines. But the end of the day, we were all pulling money together, paying bills together, really contributing, because we couldn't do it alone with our finances. And then that was 2004. In 2006, I moved to the Pacific Northwest. My husband's from here. I took a loan out on the second of our mortgage, and I purchased a duplex in Gresham, Oregon, and I rented that. I moved into my husband's house. So I had those investments, and that's only six years into this country. And so there's really a way to do this as you're growing into the United States, but the 2008 market crash really hurt us. And I say this to say that even if you feel like you're so successful, if you don't do it right, if you're not reaching out to mentors, if you're not learning and really doing it meticulously and strategically, you are going to hurt yourself financially. And that's what happened to me. The other piece of the puzzle for me was that I was too smart for my own good. I had a lot of ego as a young 20-some-year-old, and I really ate it financially. I made a lot of financial mistakes. We lost a lot of our investments. My husband had some real estate investments as well in the '08 market crash. Long story short, we had to really humble down, and we've gone through so much difficulties in our finances after the 2008 market crash. I remember, and I'll tell you this Costco chicken story, because Costco chicken really saved us. Around this 2008 market crash, our son Caden is 2. We are about to have another son, Taylor. Taylor actually came out 3 months premature, our youngest son, because of all the stress and the financial stress that we had to go through. And I just opened my insurance practice. I mean, all these layers of things happen all in 1 year, in less than a year, actually. So I got awarded my insurance practice 2008. So, okay, backtrack. I got married on 8/8/8, August 8, 2008. To my husband, we had a 2-year-old when we got married. So we already had a son, Caden, in 2006 when we got married. And then that was August. And then in October, we opened the insurance practice. And that was when the market, like all kinds of nasty news in the news. Market crash, all sorts of like bailouts, all of that stuff in '08. And I'm like, oh shit, I just opened this business. I just quit my job to open this business, and I've got to make it or break it. And so that was August 8, 2008. We got married. September, my husband got fired from his job. October, I opened the business. And then December, we got pregnant with our second child. Then our second child came out the next year in June, which is 3 months premature. And that was my whole also first year in my insurance practice. And so The whole thing in a small window happened layer per layer per layer, and we were just so stressed out. And here's another thing I want to leave you with. This is a lesson tonight. When you feel, especially when you're so successful in your own rights, in your own gauge, in your own measurement of success, you feel like you're successful and you are failing, or you feel like you're failing, and you hang on like nails on chalkboard, and you don't take a loss, and you keep band-aiding it financially, and it keeps digging you a deeper hole every time you do it, take a pause, put the brakes on, and start thinking critically. Because when you keep moving and move in desperation, you're going to end up like us, which we got scammed along the way. When there's a crash, there's a lot of business opportunities. And when there's a crash and there's business opportunities, in 2008 market crash, there were a lot of vultures, scammers, whatever you want to call them. And we got scammed along that way because we went into desperate mode. And that's what I want to leave you with. When you're in financial distress, when you are going through a 2008 crash like we did, or any crash in your life whatsoever, please take a moment and really think it through. Sometimes it might be better for you to take a loss right now, as soon as possible, even though there's a lot of shame and guilt around it. There was a ton of shame and guilt around it. I was so much more worried about what other people would think. And then as soon as I went to the other side, I realized, like, why the heck it took me so long to do this? You know what I'm saying? So that's our 2008 market crash situation. And I want to bring you back to the Costco chicken story, because Costco chicken has always been $4.99. It's not changed. It's a loss leader for Costco, and it's strategically placed on the very back. So on your way to go get your chicken, even though you're just on a mission, Costco's not going to get your money. You're on a mission and not going to turn and grab other things. You are going to end up grabbing other things and spending more money than you came for, which was the chicken. And that's the idea of the Costco chicken. In any case, we made Costco chicken last during the aftermath of the '08 market crash, the financial distress that we had. We would buy Costco chicken, and the first meal we would have is chicken and rice. The second meal we would have was chicken sandwich. So we'd we would use the chicken breasts. I hate chicken breasts, it's too dry. But put a little mayo in it and slap it on a sandwich, I'll eat it. So chicken and rice, this is a Costco chicken story. Chicken sandwich, we'll have chicken tacos, chicken enchilada, chicken, until that thing is carcass and bones, and then I'll make soup out of it. And we made that Costco, that $5 chicken last in the '08 market crash like it's nobody's business. But I learned a lot through that process. And through that process, I become a very good financial educator. Through that process, I become very good with my money. And I always say, money is my jam, but it jammed me first. And what a blessing when money jams you first, because you start learning so much things you can actually teach other people. Voila! And you can make a difference in the world. And I always say when God puts you through the ringer and you feel like the world is ending, let me tell you, your world is just starting over. Your world is just shaping up to make you who you really need to be. But here's the deal. Going through the ringer, especially financial ringer, is going to prove who you really are, what you're really made of, and how strong you really are. One day there was a question. It wasn't asked for me, but I also answered it with my own thing. It was a question of, Kareen, when did you realize that you were rich? And I thought about it a little bit and I said, my answer to that question is when I lost everything. When I lost everything, because you know what? You're already rich without money. You're already rich without all the material things. If you learn how to unleash and harness what's already in you, you have all the tools you need. You don't need all the things. You don't need all the accessories of life. It's all in there. You just have to harness it. And so with that being said, I'm going to end it with this, and we can talk about my next, which is my last part 5, my last immigrant story. I mean, that's not going to end there, but it's the last day tomorrow of the 31 days of 31 days of women empowerment for Women's History Month in the month of March. Today is the 30th, tomorrow's the 31st. But guys, I'm living my happy ending right now. And it's not obviously going to end, but so far this is turning out to be really good. And so for those of you that are going through life and have some challenges, know that there's a code in there for you to decode so you can come out of it, solve the issue, and teach others. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch part 5 tomorrow. If you missed part 1, 2, 3 in the last 3 days, please go back and watch them. And you may laugh, you may cry, you may get inspired, motivated, whatever it does to you. Make sure you let me know in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.